War in the galaxy had rules. They were not written in treaties or carved into stone. They were older than that, older than most civilizations themselves. They were learned through destruction, refined through extinction, and respected because any species that ignored them did not survive long enough to regret it. Rule 1. Do not escalate beyond necessity. Rule 2. Preserve what can be taken. Rule 3. Never fight an enemy that has nothing left to lose. The Karth Dominion followed these rules with religious discipline. That was why they had ruled their sector for over 4,000 cycles. They did not rush into war. They did not gamble. They calculated, adapted, and conquered with precision. So when they discovered humanity, they did what they always did. They studied. At first, humans seemed unimpressive. Their technology was inconsistent, some of it innovative, some of it crude. Their governments were fragmented, their history filled with internal wars, their biology fragile compared to many species. But there was one anomaly. Humans recovered. Fast. Too fast. World war after world war, collapse after collapse, disaster after disaster, yet every time humanity rebuilt, not just to what they were before, but often stronger. The Karth analysts noted it, then they dismissed it. Resilience is not strength, said Chief Strategist Velkor. It is simply delay. The decision was made. Earth would be taken. The first strike was flawless. Karth ships slipped into the Sol system undetected, disabling satellites, crippling communication arrays, and neutralizing orbital defenses in under 6 minutes. Humanity was blind before they even knew they were under attack. The second strike targeted infrastructure, power grids, military bases, launch facilities. Precision bombardments ensured minimal ecological damage. After all, Earth was valuable, very valuable. The third phase was supposed to be simple: demand surrender. It always worked. The message was transmitted in every human language simultaneously. Your planet is now under Karth Dominion control. Surrender immediately and you will be preserved. Resist and you will be removed. Across Earth, the message played. Cities froze, governments scrambled, and for a brief moment, the Karth waited. Then humanity responded, not with a unified message, not with a formal declaration, but with chaos. Missiles launched from hidden silos the Karth had not detected. Fighter craft took off from makeshift runways, highways, deserts, even frozen lakes. Civilian networks flooded the Karth communication channels with interference, junk data, and something else, something intentional. "Sir," one Karth officer said, "they are broadcasting instructions." "Instructions?" asked Velkor. "Yes. To their own population." Velkor watched as translations appeared on his display. How to disable drones, how to disrupt targeting systems, how to fight back. "Are they arming civilians?" Velkor asked, confused. "Yes." "That is inefficient." "Yes." "That is reckless." "Yes." Velkor paused. "Continue observation." The invasion moved forward anyway. Ground forces deployed in key population centers, expecting resistance, but not what they encountered. Humans did not fight like other species. They did not retreat when overwhelmed. They did not surrender when surrounded. They did not stop when injured. A Karth unit reported an incident in what humans called a city. A single human had disabled an armored walker using improvised explosives. The human had no military markings, no training indicators, just determination. Another report came in. A group of humans had lured Karth troops into a confined space, collapsing the structure on top of them. The humans were inside the building. They had not attempted to escape. Why would they do this? One officer asked. Velkor did not answer, because he did not know. Then came the most troubling report. Sir, they are destroying their own resources. Velkor turned sharply. Explain. Fuel depots, supply caches, transport hubs. Humans are sabotaging them before we can secure them. That makes no sense, Velkor said. It does if... The officer hesitated. If they don't want us to use them. Velkor felt something unfamiliar. A crack in certainty. Why would they deny us resources at the cost of their own survival? He asked. No one answered, because the answer had not yet become clear. It became clear 3 days later. The Karth advance slowed, not because of direct resistance, but because there was nothing left to take. Cities were evacuated before occupation, factories were destroyed before capture, supply lines vanished into smoke and rubble. Humanity was not defending Earth. They were making it useless. This is irrational, one officer insisted. No, said Velkor slowly. It is not. He began to understand, and what he understood disturbed him. Humans are not trying to win, he said. They are trying to deny us victory. And that broke the first rule of war.
By the 7th day, the Karth Dominion had control of Earth. Officially, strategically, on every map and every tactical display, the planet was theirs. And yet, it did not feel like victory. There is no infrastructure left intact in major zones, an officer reported. Food production has been compromised, water systems disrupted, atmospheric processors damaged in multiple regions. Velkor listened in silence. Every report said the same thing in a different way. Earth was dying. Can it be stabilized? He asked. There was a pause. Not without significant external resources. And the humans? They are still resisting. Velkor closed his eyes briefly. They are destroying their own world, he said quietly. Yes. And then, finally, the third rule of war revealed itself. Never fight an enemy that has nothing left to lose, because such an enemy cannot be controlled. The Karth began to understand their mistake, but by then, it was too late. Human resistance did not weaken, it intensified. Without infrastructure, the battlefield changed. No front lines, no clear targets, just humans, everywhere. A Karth patrol would secure an area, only to lose it hours later. A supply convoy would vanish without a trace. Entire units disappeared into terrain that should have been mapped and controlled. Where are they coming from? An officer demanded. Velkor answered with a single word: everywhere. Because humans did not need supply lines anymore. They did not need bases. They did not need stability. They had adapted. They fought in small groups, in pairs, sometimes alone. They used the ruins as weapons. They used darkness, weather, terrain, anything. And worst of all, they learned. Every engagement made them more dangerous. Every loss made them more determined. They are changing tactics faster than we can respond, the AI reported. That is not possible, another officer argued. It is happening. Velkor stared at the data. at the patterns, at the impossible speed of adaptation. And then he realized something that chilled him. This was not new. Humans had always been like this. War was not foreign to them. It was familiar. "They are not breaking the rules," Velcor said quietly. "They are fighting by their own." And their rules were far more dangerous. By day 10, the Karth Dominion made an unprecedented decision. Prepare for withdrawal. The command room fell silent. "Withdrawal?" an officer repeated. "We control the planet." "No," Velcor said. "We occupy it." "That is the same." "No," Velcor said again. "It is not." He gestured to the data, to the burning cities, to the empty supply grids, to the endless, relentless resistance. "We cannot rule this. We cannot sustain this. We cannot win this." The words felt wrong. The Karth Dominion did not lose wars, but this was not a war they understood. As the evacuation began, one final report came in. Human activity increasing globally. Velcor frowned. Increasing? Yes, they are rebuilding. He stared at the screen. Rebuilding? He repeated. But there is nothing left. The officer hesitated. They are starting anyway. Velcor leaned back slowly, and for the first time, he understood the full truth. Humans did not fight to preserve what they had. They fought knowing they could lose everything and build it again. That was their strength. Not their weapons, not their ships. Their refusal to stay broken. As the last Karth ship left Earth's orbit, a final transmission was sent. Not a threat, not a warning, a question. "Why?" Velcor asked. The response came from a human voice, tired but unshaken. "Because it's ours." Velcor waited. "And you were never going to keep it." The transmission ended. Years later, the Karth Dominion updated their doctrine. A new rule was added. Do not invade humanity. They will destroy the battlefield and still win.